The elf, the tall elf, fair face, dark hair. He sort of stops up short, holds up his hand, and the two elves that are sort of flanking him sort of relax their bowstrings a little bit, and he says, "You've been looking for this place for a long time. Is that true?"
Shaldrick nods.
Turn to look at Shaldrick.
Nods. Well, we're not a big fan of visitors, but what brings you here? Is it a tourism?
Yes, we're here to tour your beautiful village and visit your casinos and
which is beautiful,
reserves.
by the way.
You can actually sort of tell that he's surprised to hear that you've been looking for his town, and he's just a little bit like he doesn't like visitors, but he likes hearing that people are looking for him. He says, yes, of course you may have heard of our skill at hunting and our martial prowess with the bow and arrow. I'm certain. Welcome to Flederhind. My name is Mathrodin. Please.
Lovely to meet you, Mathrodin.
All right.
Come. It grows late. Would you care for somewhere to stay the night, perhaps?
We would very much appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, please come with me to my home. It's fine. It's fine. He gestures to the women who are flanking him. Alodel, Findeli, please lower your weapons. These people, they don't appear to be a threat. He leads you over to a large tree that's sort of centrally located on this flat clearing. Walks up to just sort of the rough bark and places his hand on the bark, and the bark sort of bends out of the way, almost as if the tree had muscles and it was pulling it open, revealing like a gracefully arched carved door frame. And it's open, so he just steps in, entering the sort of like kitchen dining room entry area of a very stately abode. He turns around and beckons you to enter, following him.
Yes.
Okay.
I will.
Cool. Yeah. The evening progresses. He bakes a delicious root stew for y'all with fresh venison. So you're all sitting around the dinner table, breaking bread with him and eating with him. How is conversation going?
I think at some point I tell him, like the reason that we're here, but I frame it like I tell him, I'm a traveling healer, and a village near here has become afflicted of a disease, and we were told, and I look at Shaldrick, that your village had someone who might be able to help us. And we have an apothecary in town, but her skills are somewhat limited, and so we've come here to seek the counsel of the elves. What was her name? Al Almos?
Al Almos, yeah, that's the
so
name.
I mentioned that. I say that the healer Al Almos can brew a potion that may be able to save us. Tell me, are they here?
Shaldrick interrupts him and goes, you mean save the town?
I nod, yes.
Why don't you give me a deception roll?
I can do that.
This is also the first time I'm hearing this, so I'm like...
I'm gonna use my inspiration on this.
Okay.
There we go. God,
Nice.
God.
18.
All right, 18. Yeah.
Cool. He sort of nods. And you can see him sort of thinking for a little bit. He strokes his chin. He stands up. He goes over to a cabinet. He throws it open, and in there he has a series of vials that are filled with a cool green liquid that glows very gently. And he says, "Yes, a potion to cure diseases. Yes." We need a similar thing here. We have these made up by Al Almos for our use in town. It's challenging for me to hear your request. How much of this do you think you need?
So I'm trying really hard to maintain eye contact and not just stare at the vial, like salivating.
Yeah.
And so it's just us and him, right? Like in the house right now.
Yeah.
So plan B, where I murder him, is starting to formulate in my head.
Yeah.
I had the same idea.
My hands are starting to get itchy. But I tell him, my people have a saying. Make a man borscht, you will feed him for a night. Teach him the way to make a borscht, you will feed him for his life. And I like look at the cabinet and I'm like, any that you could spare for us, we would appreciate. But what we truly need is the recipe, the means to create it ourselves.
Yeah. This guy, what the hell did I name him again? Mathroden. He nods and he says, I understand. He closes the cabinet behind him and it presses a hand against it, and you can hear like some sort of vines like twining across the inside or something like that. He says, yes, well, if this were, if these potions here were for curing disease, I would gladly spare them, but they are in fact potions for purifying the water of the spring in town. Very recently it has grown putrid, and we have relied heavily on Alalmos' skill. Though, if it is only the recipe you need from him, it's possible that would take a small amount of time. I think I can allow this. It sounds very reasonable. There's only one problem, my friend. Alalmos has left town for the past 5 days, 4 or 5 days. It has been long since he has returned. Usually he has not gone this long. This is why.
Is he dead?
His
Was the blood
footsteps.
his?
Yeah, I see a golden exclamation point emerge from his head.
Oh no.
So is this guy telling me the truth? Like, is he being straight up with us, or is he just being an elf and jerking us around?
Give me an insight check.
Just being an elf.
Jerk off elves. All right, 21.
Yeah, like he's telling you the truth, but there's also something he's not telling you about this situation.
This is a goddamn quest, isn't it?
Yeah, like, yeah, you get the feeling that something about giving you access to Alalmos is a little more complicated than him simply just like saying, yeah, sure.
Well,
He feels reluctant about that specifically.
yeah, I mean, I get that. I get that it's like important to their culture and stuff because you know you have to remember El Almos, but I think we've kind of like we've been decent enough to this guy that he'll like. I mean, we got that good roll, and I'm gonna let Lucas handle this one. So you started to talk, so I'm gonna like.
I reach out and I say, well, surely, you know, the recipe is here. If really what we're after, and I like sort of look to the rest of the group for, you know, to make sure we're all on the same page and say, surely if what we're after more than anything is the recipe, you have that?
Mathroden sort of, he shakes his head. He says, no, I am a warrior, not a book learner. I make use of Alalmos' skills, especially when warriors around town need assistance or help or healing. But it's all very complicated. I have no memory for plants.
Yeah, but he can't possibly be the only one in your little village or whatever to do stuff like that. And I'm taking like a dangerous step closely to you and tower myself above you.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Give me an intimidation check.
Whoa there.
What check do you want?
Going all in.
Intimidation.
This guy knows.
Thus begins the murdering of all the elves.
Okay.
This one's for Vajgert.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. So
Pathetic.
you
I want
sort of. He sort of like reaches down behind his back and he like brings out a wicked looking kukri, and he just like starts like cleaning his fingernails with it in response to your like a step closer. And he says,
can we all just step in and be like, whoa, hold the
when she does
Whoa.
that, I immediately stand up and I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's been partaking of some liquors while we were walking. Please just can we continue to talk civilly?
We all start just babbling excuses. She's the Dragonborn. They have very hot blood. She's upset. We've been on the road for many days. Please, do not let her.
He sheathes his kukri, and he sort of holds up his hands. He says, "Good guests here. There's no need for this. I have told you the truth. Alalmos left 5 days ago. He vanishes sometimes into the woods. He recovers his supplies of plants, or I don't know. Maybe he meets someone. He never has had any love interest in town. So perhaps he's doing something in the woods that I don't need to know about. But really, there's no need for this. We can share drink together here tonight. You can ask around town if anybody else in town knows anything. There is a druid who lives here in town, name of Galabri. She may be able to give you more information regarding plant lore or potions. It's possible Alalmos has spoken with her some, and she always is hanging around him. Speak with her on the morrow. See if maybe she has information for you.
I'm so sorry, friend. I have such a hard time grasping the concept of allowing only one person to have the means to heal in this town. If he's left and if he's gone forever, what is the plan?
So, like, you know, from your stroll through town, walking in here, like, really, there's probably only like 30 or 40 trees that are carved into like these tree houses that are around here. It's a fairly small place. Right. There's like fruits growing in the boughs of the trees that seem to be sort of like a primary agricultural crop for this group of elves. But again, you haven't seen a whole lot of elves. All told, probably you've seen like 8 people total, like through windows and the people who greeted you and Mathroden. It's not a big town. So, you know, Mathroden starts explaining, he says, well, we're a small community, and while many of our warriors possess the capabilities of tying wounds and stitching closed gashes or mundane methods of caring for wounds, Alalmos really is gifted in the arcane arts of healing through the brewing of magical potions. He is the only one in town that I rely on for cleansing the spring, though that is a very recent thing. You make an excellent point. It seems as the chieftain of this town, I should look into having Alalmos take on an apprentice. He has been very kind to us. You saw my cupboard of potions. He left us with a large supply for his absence. But yes, you bring a point that I had not previously considered. If he does not come back, then we are in serious trouble. I will go with you tomorrow to speak with the Galebri. Does that sound ideal to you four?
So Shaldrick kind of.
Yeah,
go ahead. Okay, Shaldrick just kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at him and says, "You wouldn't have any problem with us leaving today, right?"
No, I can speak with Galebri on the morrow myself if need be. If you need to leave now, that's no problem. Though I can offer you.
It's nighttime. We have a warm bed here. We have hospitality here. We should stay here and then leave in the morning. Yes. I look to the rest of the group like, right.
So I kind of look around the hut a little bit, and I clearly something does not sit right with me, and I just kind of nod.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we'll partake of his hospitality.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, he leads you up a spiral staircase that sort of spirals through portion of this tree into a room that's higher. That's all sort of like broadly empty. There's like a cradle in one corner of the room, and there are like a number of cots around the edges of the room. And he takes like the he takes the blanket off of one of the cots and he drapes it over the cradle and says, "Now, you four may sleep here. Rest, please. I understand that's a thing you people sometimes need. Please, take care of yourselves.
Elf
And
prick.
in the morning, we will go see Galebri and we will ask her if there's anything that can be done about your diseases."
Thank you
So-
very much.
When I see the cradle, I'll ask him just casually, like, you have children.
He give me a persuasion check.
All right. I got a 14.
Yeah. He looks at you and you just see like this kind of sad look come across his face. And he says, "There are not many children in town. Elves are very long-lived, and we are not the most fertile of people. Please, rest well, sleep well, and we will speak in the morrow." And he turns and he walks out.
Cool.
So Shaldrick kind of pulls Grigori aside and just kind of looks up at him and makes sure no one else can hear him. He says, "Did you tell the elf we were sick?"
I told him we needed the medicine for the village. He might assume he's an elf. Who knows what they think?
Just kind of Shaldrick nods and goes and leans against the wall and looks around the room.
Besides, if we find like as you're walking, like, besides, look, if there's trouble and we have their herbalist, we can make a trade. He either tells us what we want or we have useful hostage. If he's still alive.
Look, just throwing it out there, it's really obvious to me that you guys are sick. You realize that, right? Like, I knew.
Shaldrick nervously looks around the room.
I just stare at Lucas and growl.
Please.
That big lizard. She's very intimidating, trust me.
So I'll take a step towards you, like big heavy booted steps. I'm like kind of like I'm not trying to like be violent towards you, but I'm definitely like making a point that I'm like menacing you a little, and I look at you and I'm like, you do not know us well enough yet to take that tone. Someone we don't know, you have to earn that. Watch your mouth, boy.
Gory, all I'm trying to say here is that I don't think that there's anything sinister. And I would not have come with you if I was concerned about this. All
It is
right?
not a question of them being sinister, boy. It's a question of being more sinister than they are. And I'm gonna just turn around and like walk out and go try to find something to drink.
Yeah, like he's like Meth Rodin has like poured you some sort of like I guess it's kind of like almost like a tequila of sorts. It's like
I've heard the wondrous nature of these elf shots.
it's brewed from some like sweet fruit, and it's very clear and distilled, and it's very sweet tasting. Yeah, so you know, Meth Rodin, he greets you when you come down, and you two drink together, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to talk to him about while you're down there?
I mean, I assume that we just like interrogate him about whatever he knows about where. Like, he didn't seem to be hiding. Like, he doesn't know where this guy is.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to the druid to figure out a lead on that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you know, the night passes uneventfully. Who was the next person in line? I think it was Lucas, right?
I think it's your turn, Lucas.
Do you want to do a scene?
Sure.
Okay.
So every meal that we've had where rabbit has been offered to me, I have refused outright to eat it. Not in an offensive way. I haven't said absolutely not, I won't eat that. But I tend to leave it on my plate or just not take it if I'm the one serving myself. In those moments, if I look at it, I almost seem to be shaken in a way. I don't ever like to look at it, especially when it's whole. So,
Like whole rabbit.
like a whole rabbit. But even when it's in forms and stages of mutilation, I've fairly refused to look at it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Like, is this something? Like, when was the last time that you had someone try to serve you rabbit?
Well, I know that Grigori brought us rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it just like, have we ever seen you eat meat at all?
No, I have not eaten meat at all, but specifically rabbit. I've
You seemed
I've gone on a walk when it's been, skinned and all of that. I've taken pains to sort of stay away from it and to not have it on my plate if possible.
Did we have any discussions? Because I know, like, if I would see that, I would probably approach you about it. And yeah,
Sure,
like,
we
did we
can
have
have
a discussion?
a past
Let's
discussion.
have a discussion.
Yeah, let's
Sure, yeah, totally. So, like,
Yeah.
Grigori comes back to camp bearing some rabbits, cooks them up. And what do you say in response to this? Like, how do you turn it down, Lucas?
Is it offered to me on a plate, or is it already cooked at this point?
I mean, I would have come back from like checking my traps in the morning and had like a couple of like dead rabbits, and I would have like chopped them up and made them into stew probably. So at any point you could express disgust in that process. And then eventually I would just try to give you a bowl of it and be like, food, eat.
All right. So I've been handed a bowl and I sort of stare at it, and I'm sort of assessing how much meat is in there and whether or not I can avoid it. So I don't want to be rude, and I definitely don't want to attract attention to it. So as I'm eating, I'm sort of, I'm grabbing the broth, and I'm grabbing the vegetables that are in there, the herbs and things like that, but I'm actively avoiding the meat. And even eating the broth itself, because there's meat in the broth, like, makes me feel a little bit sick, but I'm trying to.
Yeah. So, Verani, do you notice this?
Oh yeah, since I've been staring at Lucas ever since he joined us, I will like observe the whole thing, and most likely gonna like poke Grigori with my elbow and like point at the bowl and make a bit of a disgusted face.
Okay.
There's just like a pile of rabbit meat in the bottom of your bowl now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
doing like the what the heck face, like what's going on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't mean to offend at all. I don't really eat meat much, mostly rabbit. Maybe I should have told you that, but I didn't want to put the group out at all.
All right.
If
At
anybody
that
else
point, I
would
probably
like
just
this,
would
they
have.
can
Yeah,
have it.
I would have gotten up before you even offered and just taken away your bowl. Like yeah, that's
To like eat the rest of it?
to eat the rest of it. No,
Yeah, you can have it.
I would
You can
have
have
just
it,
done
man.
it.
Cool.
So, Shaldrick is kind of bewildered by everything he's seeing, and he goes, "Aren't you hungry?"
Oh no, I'm fine. The stew is very delicious. I'm feeling great.
So he kind of looks at the other two and kind of looks back at her. You're going to be okay.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. And the longer this conversation goes on, the more like sort of nervous I look like I'm feeling, and I take out a couple of small crystal balls and sort of play with them in my hand awkwardly.
Okay. So I think I'll probably like when like Verani goes off to eat and Sheldrick goes back to eating, I'll be close enough so I can talk to you like quietly. And I'll kind of like shake my head and be like, "You should eat. We'll keep you strong. Out here you need to be strong. Why is it that you don't eat this?"
I take a moment and I say back in very hushed tones, "Can I tell you something?
Why not?
It's going to sound odd, but
I just laugh. Try me.
when I see dead rabbits, even skinned, even when the head is completely separate from the body, they're always staring at me."
I just shake my head. "You are strange." Then I look over at Sheldrick and Verani and just shrug and say, "We are strange too. Tomorrow I will find you something else to eat. Keep you strong," and like clap you on the shoulder.
I sort of laugh and shake my head. Thank you. I'm sorry. I honestly did not mean to offend by not eating it. I feel weird about it.
I shrug. Plenty to feel weird about. This, not so big, I think.
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. So, Lucas, go ahead and mark inspiration, which I think
I
you
already
already
have
had.
it.
Yep,
Hey.
cool. And I know that Sheldrick did ask a question, so I'm going to give him
Yeah.
inspiration.
Absolutely.
Cool. Great. So, yeah, morning comes. It's bright and clear, and the canopy of the village of Flaterhind is a little bit looser than the rest of the Starkwald, so there's lots of sunlight that's streaming down through the boughs. Methrodin comes up at like 5:30 a.m. and he's like, yes, are you ready to go? Oh, I see some of you are still sleeping. I'll come back. And then he comes back at like 7 or something. Says, yes, are you ready to go meet, what is her name? Galebri?
I don't know, you ready to eat a dick, you stupid elf? Yeah.
Elf hate is so real.
He's just such a prick.
He brings you like a couple slabs of cured venison and like a couple mugs of like frothy mead to help, wake you up and get you ready in the morning. So, it's a pretty decent meal. There's a freshly baked loaf of elven bread that is on a plate as well.
Lembas bread. Love it.
Yeah, so you guys are ready to go, talk with the druid as well.
Mm-hmm.
He leads you out through the town, and there are some people in the town sort of like up in the trees, like gathering fruits or like watering various hanging sort of like clusters of plants in the trees, in the boughs of the trees. And he leads you around back towards like a garden that's very well maintained and very sort of like festive and floral. There's lots of like vines growing up the trunks of a couple of nearby trees. There's like bright yellow flowers across the floor, very small ones, and then like bright pink flowers growing up the sides of the trees, and then these sort of like red like pitcher plant type plants growing from the canopy in this garden area. And there's a woman out in the middle who has like thick red hair that's just like wild and crazy, and there's like twigs entangled in it. And then when you take a second look, you can actually see that they're not entangled, but in fact like braided into her hair. And she turns around and she's clearly a deal younger than Matherodin. But she greets you as you approach, and she says something in Elvish, and Matherodin responds in Elvish again, and then she responds back in Common and says, my apologies, I did not mean to speak in a tongue that you did not comprehend. Please tell me who you are. Matherodin tells me that you seek herb lore. Is that true?
So, Varani, she's a druid, right? He described her as a druid? The
Yes.
other character?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Varani, now would be, if you want to, the time to bust out your sweet druid language.
Yeah, that's what I
If you wanna
thought.
impress her.
Like, actually, I'm just gonna have my own conversation with her.
Yeah, I look at you like druid interface.
All right. Well, do I need to roll anything with that, or am I
Nope,
just
you just
babbling off?
say,
All
I'm
right.
speaking Druidic.
Okay, I'm speaking Druidic.
Awesome.
And it's gonna be fabulous. It sounds very wonderful. And well, I will basically just ask her if she's the only druid in the whole place.
In the village?
Yeah.
As soon as she hears you speaking Druidic, her eyes light up. She's very excited to meet you. She actually runs over and she holds out her hand and she grabs you by the hand and she shakes it. She says, it's wonderful to meet you. My name is oh God. I need to keep these names
What's
up.
my name?
My name is Galebri. Welcome to Flaterhind. You tell me of the outside world. Where do you come from?
Well, I'm coming from everywhere and really nowhere. We are actually in quite a predicament at the moment, and we seek help. But your elfish friends don't seem to be able to help us. But seeing as you are also a druid, I know you probably might be a better person to talk to.
Yes. What help do you need? Please tell me. I will do whatever I can to help a fellow druid.
Well, we're seeking to cure a disease. There have been several villages with close friends and really dear people to us who have been affected by a disease, and we need the recipe to be able to cure them. But your potion person seems to have been gone out of town.
Potion person? You mean our herbalist?
Yeah, the person whose name I cannot remember for my life.
Al-Almos.
Yeah, that one.
Ah, you seek him.
Well, we seek a recipe, not necessarily him. We just all think it's odd that you only have one person who's able to do this kind of stuff and no one else has access to the knowledge.
Ah, well, and you can tell that she's just like a little bit disturbed, and she sort of like whispers to you under her breath. She says, "I don't like Al-Almos. He's not a good man."
I just nod. And then how long have you been in this village with him? Has he always been here? Did you guys grow up together, or?
She says, I have 174 years, and Al-Almos has 210. And for as long as I have been alive, Al-Almos has been here. Though it's possible that he ventured here with Mathroden when Mathroden founded Flederhind.
Not again. So, do you think he's the only hope we have to find a cure for a disease?
You wish the cure for a disease for how many?
I mean, we'd like to have the recipe to cure as many as we can because so many are affected. But I mean, if you happen to have it lying around, I don't know. Let's just say randomly 3 for no reason whatsoever.
It's a lot more nuanced conversation in Druidic.
I am not a potion maker, so I cannot produce potions. But if you bring the afflicted here, I can restore them for you.
Oh.
Try it on us first. We need to see if it works.
Plot
The
twist.
slide.
Well, give me maybe a second with my fellow travelers to discuss this, if you may. I don't want to be rude, but I think I quickly need to have a talk with them.
Yes, of course, please, by all means.
Thank
She
you
sort
so
of
much.
steps back over and begins sort of watering some of the flowers on the ground. And I think it's a good time to take a break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we can hear the conversation you 3 have at the discovery that she can just cure you.
Okay.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 5 minutes or so.